Was it?
It's over.
Could it have been my blood from
Your
before?
image is not important right now. Saving the rest of your life is. And unfortunately, you're gonna have to face the consequences. You can continue to say, I didn't do it.
Well,
but you're the kid that got caught on videotape stealing the candy. And you continue to say, it wasn't me. I have the proof. I have the pictures. It wasn't me. I don't think you would admit to it if your own mother saw you do this. And she told me, yeah, I saw her do this. You would say, no, it wasn't me.
Anyone who has experienced the pangs of despised love knows that love does not always end well. Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 1. So you might be asking why I chose this quote today. The reason I chose to use these quotes from Shakespeare is that I feel the story of Jodi Arias, Travis Alexander, and Mimi Hall. This case feels like a Shakespearean love tragedy in which most parties of this crime, love was given but was not received. Here's a quick clip of the level, for a lack of better words, crazy in love Jodi was.
I love him, she writes. I could not possibly love him not. Though I wish I could stop, turn it off like a light switch, duct tape it down so it can't turn back on. Or better yet, just cut the circuit, cut off its life source, make it dead in a second, lifeless. Prosecutors say that's exactly what she ended up doing, murdering Alexander in a jealous
Welcome
rage,
back to Serial Chronicles, where we bring you some of the most tragic crimes in history. Today, we look at the interrogation and a court case of Jodi Arias, Travis Alexander, and Mimi Hall, a story straight out of Shakespeare love tragedies. Bear with me a bit before we start playing the interrogation video. We have 3 players in this love tragedy: Travis Alexander, Jodi Arias, and Marie Hall, better known as Mimi Hall. Let's start with Travis. Travis, our victim, was born July 28, 1977, in Riverside, California. He was a salesman for the multi-level marketing company Prepaid Legal Services. He also worked as a motivational speaker.
I'd like to change. The senior Bush, change. Reagan, change. Carter, change. And so on and so forth. Change, change, change. And for some people, things have changed. Yeah. And for some people, nothing has changed. But you know what the variable was? It wasn't who was the president of the United States. It was them. Jim Rohn, I'm sure many other people said it too, but Jim Rohn is the first person I heard say it. For things to change, you have to change. That's right. You have to change, not Barack Obama. If you want change you can count on, the only person you can count on is the man or woman in the mirror. I'll just wear these pants, and I'll wear them tomorrow at the airport. Well, that's not going to happen because I ripped like from here to here. There's just a gigantic hole that for half the day I'm just skiing around half naked. So, so interesting times. It's cold. So.
Probably this is the reason Jodi fell in love with him. His charisma as a motivational speaker. This is just my opinion. Now on to our antagonist, Jodi Ann Arias. She was born on July 9th, 1980 in Salinas, California. She and Travis met in September 2006 at a prepaid legal service conference located in Las Vegas, Nevada. As of February 2nd, 2007, Alexander and Arias were a couple. After the two broke up on June 29th, 2007, you would think that this would be the end of it. And last, but certainly not least, Mimi. Mimi was a love interest that shut down or friend-zoned our victim Travis, leaving him loveless, as Travis had left Jodi loveless. This interrogation is 7 hours long. We have cut it down tremendously to the important parts. If you want to see the whole interrogation, let us know in the comment section below.
Can I get those off you? Can you stand up for me? Face down. Can I get you a bottle of water? Thank you. There's water for you. Do you want one for yourself? Yeah.
Maybe we can turn the heat up in here. Or if you have a sweater I can borrow or something.
I don't have any sweaters. I'll see if I can turn it off. It's hard to control the heat in this building.
That's fine.
Sure I don't lock myself in here. Yeah. So you remember me?
Of course I do.
I traveled all the way up here come talk to you. Because, you know, I've been working on Travis's case ever since it happened. Okay, and I know exactly when it happened, when he was killed. I know a lot of details. And just recently we found quite a bit of evidence. And I'll discuss that with you. The main thing that I'm looking for, though, is answers on why certain things happened, why they went so far, and also to get your statements.
Okay.
A lot of details on this case that haven't been released to the public, and not even to Travis's family. And those details are known only by us and the person who did it. Okay, and that's one of the reasons I'm here, is because I believe that you know some of these details. And I think you can help us.
I would love to help you in any way that I can.
Okay. Because we're here at the police department, the sheriff's department here in, was it Siskiyou County? That's what it was called? Okay. And you're considered under arrest or detained. You're not free to go. And I'm a police officer. I have to read you your rights. Okay. I'm sure you've heard them on TV. You know, I have to read them off this little card here, but they're pretty much the same. And I'll explain them to you as we go, okay? You understand these rights?
Yes.
And what I'm going to do is just ask you some questions, ask you what you've been doing, you know, certain dates, what you were up to.
Yeah.
You mentioned you were traveling on some of these dates.
I travel a lot.
I want to kind of clarify some of these things. And, you know, if there's a question that you don't want to answer, you don't feel comfortable, you can say no, you know, or, you know, you can elaborate as much as you want. It's completely up to you. It's at your speed. I don't want to pressure you.
Is this recorded at all, or should we?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a recording or something.
I don't know if these are voice recorders. I noticed them. If they have video, or if they have audio,
think
or
they're-
batteries, or what.
I don't think they're on.
Sorry, I'm really cold.
It's
You
okay.
still eat still?
Yeah, I haven't touched those or anything, but
Oh, okay.
what I want to do is just get to the bottom of it. Everybody wants to know, okay? And, you know, so I'm going to ask you some questions. You can voluntarily answer them if you want. Okay, is that cool?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
fine.
Well, let's start with this. What have you been up to since Travis's death? What have you been doing?
Well, I've been working.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been working at a Mexican restaurant in the north end of town. I've been kind of in a daze, at least for the first few weeks.
Like everybody, you know?
Yeah. I know that a lot of people have been posting on Facebook really nice things, you know, and memories, and at one point I was like, well, maybe I should do that, so I posted this thing, and I just said all my memories, and I realized looking back on it that it kind of sounded immature. It's more like my Dear Travis kind of letter, and so I took it down because...
More personal?
Yeah, some of it was details, a little bit more personal. Not too personal, nothing inappropriate. Just, I just felt funny. I think because I'm a photographer, I tend to communicate more through pictures, so I posted a ton of pictures that I had of him, and I have a ton more that I just can't access right now. And videos and things that I know his family would want, but, other than that, I've been on Facebook and MySpace a lot, looking at his profile, looking at his pictures, reading things, about his obituaries and, any news updates, and, you know, there's legacy.com where you can write something about him.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of those postings.
Mm-hmm. I didn't realize until I actually spoke with Ryan Burns. He told the guy that's in Utah. And we've been talking a lot, and we try not to talk about that because it's kind of like, ugh. And plus, Travis is my ex-boyfriend, but at the same time, he's my friend. So while I'm mourning my friend, how do you talk to your new potential, possible, maybe person that you might start dating about your friend, even though he was your ex-boyfriend? So it's kind of a gray area. I try not to talk about him too much, but he comes up a lot.
Jodi would proceed to run to Utah to meet her new boyfriend and sleep with him hours after murdering Travis and attempting to hide it. Of course, speaking to a boyfriend about Travis would be difficult, considering she was still sleeping with him.
And it was through him that I learned that he said, you know, if you come out to Utah, things are really weird because everyone thinks that you could have had a hand
And
in
I've
it.
talked to a lot of people, and everybody's pointing a finger at you.
I know.
You know, everybody is saying, I don't understand what happened to Travis. I don't know who killed him. But you need to look at Jodi. And sometimes the simplest answers are the correct ones. And that's one of the reasons I started looking at you a little bit closer. And over the last month or so, I've gotten into Travis's life, talked to all his friends, his family. I got a really good understanding of who he is now. And I got a very good understanding of your relationship with him. And kind of just putting two and two together,
Well, I
and
think
it kind of matches. So one of the reasons I'm here is to talk to you to figure out what was going on between you two. What I know the relationship that you guys had was of convenience sometimes. Obviously, you weren't boyfriend girlfriend anymore, but you were still having a sexual relationship, which
Does his family know about that? Just curious.
no, his family doesn't know anything. Yeah.
I'm interested in protecting how he's remembered as well, and he was
Well, I'm sure if Travis could speak right now, he wouldn't care what people thought about him, because they knew who he was. Okay, a sexual relationship here or there, because the fact he was a member of the church really doesn't matter.
A couple times I asked him
whole
if
range
he
of things.
Yeah, I think in the broad scope of things that could be right. I just think that the reason I care about that is because he was adamant about that. A couple times we prayed about it, didn't work, or we didn't stick to our guns on it. And one time a girlfriend of mine just said, why don't you just go to your bishop and talk, and ask Travis the same, and I talked to him about it, and he got really angry. He said, I've already had problems with this in the past, I'm embarrassed by it, I don't want to go to my bishop. And so we just kind of stopped for like a few weeks, and then that must have been in, I think it was August, and then it just resumed.
Throughout the interrogation, Jodi pretended to make herself seem like she cared about Travis and his image to his family and all his friends. She would later slander him as a perverted degenerate and abuser to justify what she had done. She also tries to act like a proper Mormon girl throughout the interrogation to make herself seem like a selfless and caring person incapable of harming anyone. However, this backfired due to the actions, making her seem like she's just hiding something significant.
Well, the way Travis thought, by getting into his head and everything that he's written in his journals and everything I found out about him, he truly had feelings for you. And for some reason, he felt that the relationship between you and him was somewhat unhealthy, but he couldn't stop it. And I assume that's probably maybe the same way you felt about him, or maybe you didn't understand why he didn't believe it was healthy.
No, I didn't think it was healthy either, spiritually at least, and probably emotionally. Mostly spiritually, and I think that kind of, once you have something that's not healthy spiritually, it filters through all aspects of your life. It's one of the main, there were three main reasons I moved back to Eureka, and one was I was in financial dire straits. I was not getting ahead, things were not working. Everything in Arizona was like, except for the wonderful friends that I made in my ward, and the opportunity. It's like the Mormon land of opportunity there, which is awesome, but except for all that, like every sign was pointing, just go, I wasn't able to hold a job, and that had never happened before. Too much of my nightlife was about him. He would text me and, hey, I'm getting sleepy, ... Just a bunch of Z's, and that was his code to like, come on over kind of thing. Coast is clear, So, and that was just, I lived 5 minutes away, 10, maybe 10, depending, and it was just too convenient and too easy, and it was fun, and we had fun when we were together, and so it wasn't healthy, and I totally agree with that. So that was one of the reasons. Well, financially, I wasn't doing well. I missed my family. I moved away shortly after high school, and I come back to visit, but I realized over the years I've missed out on a lot of things. My little brother and sister, I missed out on just their karate or their baseball or cheerleading or just whatever. And my dad is not doing well. He doesn't think he has very long to live, but he always says that. It's been that way for like a decade. He's still here, thank goodness. My grandparents aren't getting any younger, and I just have an awesome family. And the third reason, and I like to put this third because I like to think that second to those reasons I would have been strong enough somehow, but the third reason was to put a physical distance between Travis and I, because I know that he really liked Mimi, and he said he did. I kind of felt guilty. I mean, I know they weren't dating, but I just felt guilty. As far as the timeline, we broke, it was kind of a mutual thing, but I sort of more broke up with him. And it was hard to do because I really loved him, but I just realized that without trust, you can't have anything.
It is obvious that Travis had split ways with her to find himself a true Mormon girl, hence why he tried to get with Mimi. So it makes her look jealous and spiteful when she states that she broke up with him.
Is that the main reason you guys broke up, is the trust?
Trust. I think that there's
not that the relationship was unhealthy because of sexual activity, promiscuity, but just that you guys couldn't trust each other.
I think that, and this doesn't make it right, I think that, being a convert, I've had a couple of serious relationships before where I was intimate with a few people. But I used to always joke that regardless of what the Bible says, and yes, I'm Christian, I just live my life by the 10 Commandments, and those are my rules. Thou shalt not this or that, but it doesn't say thou shalt not fornicate. So I just used to joke about that. I would suggest that we pray before we go on a trip or before we eat if we're alone.
It was kind of unusual for him, huh?
Yeah, because he was very resistant to prayer with me. I mean, I think in church it would have been fine, and I feel that maybe because...
As we see here, she continually babbles on and on. The interrogator is one of the most patient people I have ever seen.
Anyway, what was I saying?
Well, he's, you know, the whole trust issue keeps coming back into my mind.
That was the big reason.
He was a big time flirt, and that's the one thing everybody says about him. He flirts a lot. Does he mean anything by it? No, not really. That's just who he is. He did have, you know, girlfriends here or there, and he was at a point in his life where he wanted to really start settling down. He felt like he needed to kind of grow up,
Mm-hmm.
you know, become a husband, become a father. You know, that time had come, and he felt that time had come and gone, and he was falling behind.
He told me that too. He said he felt like his time was running out, and I told him that, you know, despite the fact that he's not going to be in a singles ward very much longer, he still has a lot of options. He's still a very eligible bachelor. And he just didn't see it that way. He's like, you don't understand. He's like, that might be true, but my chances are severely reduced once I turn 31. It was like this ticking time bomb.
Finding a good Mormon girl, you know, was difficult because in that church, you know, that most of the girls get married in early 20s.
Yeah.
You know.
He said he didn't want to marry a girl in her early 20s because he said that he noticed a lot of pattern in the church with girls that married between 19 and 24, so to speak, would you know, they'd start having babies and growing their family, and then they would look at their single girlfriends who were still having fun with no responsibilities, and they would regret getting married. And I think if you're strong in the church, it's not so much a problem, but...
Yeah, it depends on who you surround yourself with, too. If you surround yourself with the right people, you know, it's a different story.
And I told him that I loved him. We didn't say I love you during our relationship, but we said it afterward. It was weird.
Okay.
I said, you know, this isn't... Breaking up with him on the phone wasn't really the way I wanted to do it, but it was kind of a situation that had just come to a point where it just couldn't be ignored anymore. And
Let's move to after the breakup.
oh, okay.
What kept you in Mesa at that point?
Suspiciously, Jodi would have herself move right next to Travis weeks after breaking up, claiming it was pre-planned even though Travis had known for a while this was toxic, dysfunctional, and totally screwed up relationship, and could not marry her anyway due to his Mormon values.
I actually moved to Mesa a few weeks after we broke up.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, as far as the timeline goes.
In June of 2007, you guys broke up, and then
June
you moved to
29th.
Mesa.
Yeah, I moved to Mesa sort of.
Most people, when they break up, they kind of go
I
their own
know,
way.
and plans were already in order for me to move there. I talked to Travis about maybe going to Southern California instead.
Okay.
And he's really persuasive.
He persuaded you to stay there in Mesa?
He kind of was playing up all the advantages if I did come to Mesa. And if I did, you know, he said, you know, it's a great place, we could still see each other and hang out on occasion. This church is very strong, you know, you'll make a lot of friends. And I already knew all this stuff prior because we talked about that. You know, and so I went ahead and just made the move. It sounded at the time like a good idea.
And you guys continued to kind of see each other at that time?
Yeah, at the time I was sort of living more across town over by Greenfield.
Even though Travis and Jodi was broken up, and Travis acknowledged that she was crazy, he still went on to have that friends with benefits relationship with her. Not saying that he was a playboy, but action speaks louder than words.
Just to give you a background of why I moved suddenly, she approached me the weekend after I got there and said, hey, she knocked on my door, can I talk to you for a second? I said, sure. And she moved in with her boyfriend. A great girl named Brenda, and she was waiting on her keys for the mortgage to go through, and it was a great ward, it was a great house, and it was brand new. Let's go ahead and go out and come see the house that was available, so we did. So I moved out there, and when Travis found out it was so close to him, he freaked out about it. And I made sure to check that it wasn't, that we wouldn't be in the same ward. And it was within his ward boundaries, but it was also within another singles ward boundary, so of course I'm gonna go the other one, because it would just be kind of weird. I mean, I didn't know about him and Lisa at first, so I don't know if they were even dating at that time. I don't know what their whole timeline was, but it still would have been weird, and it wouldn't have made Travis very
During that
comfortable.
time that he was seeing Lisa, did you continue to see him as well?
Yeah, and I didn't know that he was seeing her.
Okay.
You
But
know.
he would call you and have you come over?
Yeah.
I know there was a time when you, I guess, were cleaning his house too for extra money or something.
Yeah, I did that.
He hired you.
Yeah, I did that because he knew that I was struggling, and he's like, I've been doing the math, and that happened pretty much right on. I mean, that started in August. He's like, I've done the math, and I feel that I can be more protective. My time is more valuable than X amount of dollars per hour, so why don't I pay you this per hour, and I'll work, and you can make a little bit of money.
Okay.
And he sent me this picture, and he's like, this is your uniform, have it by Friday or Thursday or whatever, and it was this French paint thing. I was like, no.
Yeah, that's him, typical.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's a very flirty guy, and
He is.
now, obviously the Rachel relation, or not
Lisa?
Rachel, Lisa relationship didn't work out, and there was a time period he really wasn't seeing anybody, and then Mimi came into the picture.
From my observation, it seems like Jodi was using sexual activity to achieve emotional intimacy with Travis. Looking at this case, Travis continued to have intimate relationship with her even when they were broken up, and while he was trying to create a relationship with another woman. This does not seem healthy whatsoever.
What did you think about her? And
I didn't know a lot about her. She seems like a really nice girl. He showed me her picture on Facebook. You know, I don't think she had a lot of pictures on there. He said that he's not sure why, but he's pretty sure that she could be it, and I was happy for him. I didn't find out about Lisa.
This conversation you had face to face with him?
Yeah, yeah, it was in his room, and he had his laptop, you know, just on his bed. I didn't find out about Lisa until after we had this conversation where we decided to all just come clean, and that was quite a conversation, because I was never unfaithful, but there, you know, when we started dating that timeline around February, the reason I remember February is because he had told me in December, you know, go date other people kind of thing.
Okay.
The reason I say this is because he told me a few times, he told me during that conversation too, that he's like, you seem to have a very convenient timeline for when we started dating. Because I used to ask him, like, when did we actually start dating? Because I figured if we ever made it to a year, we might as well celebrate. And he's like, I'm not really sure. And the reason I think it was February 2nd is because do you know of Chris and Sky Hughes? Okay. I used to spend a lot of time at their house. And, you know, they're a wonderful family. And Sky was, she's somebody that I really opened up to. And, you know, I told her a little bit how I just wasn't sure about Travis at the time, and I wasn't sure what was going on there, and she wrote in this long letter, or she didn't write a letter, Travis wrote the letter, but she kind of got on his case, and they told me all kinds of things about Travis that I wasn't aware of.
What kind of stuff are you talking about?
They said if I don't get away from Travis, I'm going to become just like Deanna, which is his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
You know, do you want to waste 6 years of your life waiting for him?
Because he can't commit.
He still tells Deanna, I love you, and I was like, what? You know, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I truly believe he does love her still.
Oh, he
but
does.
Travis he's what you call a player. You know what that means. Yeah. He kind of pulls girls in,
anybody, though.
but he can't make a commitment. He portrays himself to be a certain way, but he's really not. Okay. He portrays himself to have a lot of money. He's not. He doesn't have a lot of money.
So when I talked to him next, I was like, you know, what do I do? What do I say? And he ended up writing this long, long, long letter to Sky saying, I just got off the phone with a very reluctant to talk to me Jodi, you know. And she wrote back saying something to the effect like, you know, I wouldn't want my sister to date you. Why do you kiss Jodi in the dark and then act like you guys aren't even together in the daytime? Things like that.
That's a good statement, because that kind of sums up the relationship that you had with him. It seems like he liked you, he loved you. He wanted to be with you, but he was reluctant to make a commitment first off. And truly, he didn't think that you were marriage material.
I know that him and Sky had a lot of fights and arguments, and I was the root of that a lot of time. But I think, you know, all in all, they, especially more recently, they got along a lot better. I think she gave him a really hard time about our relationship, so that's one of the reasons he really wanted to keep it under wraps.
So, you know, moving over to his trip to Cancun that he was going to. When did you first find out about that he was going with Mimi?
Oh, I found out about that at his memorial services on Monday. It was the Monday night memorial service.
So you didn't know that he was going to Cancun?
I knew he was going, yeah.
Okay. You didn't know he was taking Mimi?
I didn't know that. I think that's awesome, actually.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, Mimi had called him a week or two before, and I told him, look, if you want to take somebody else, it's fine, but I have something to tell you. I don't look at you that way. I don't look at you as a boyfriend. If you want to be friends, we can be friends. And that really broke his heart.
This is a sad part of the interrogation, as the interrogator revealed to Jodi that Mimi had friend-zoned Travis, even though he was still taking her to Cancun. This information might have weighed heavily on her mind, now knowing that the man she killed in a jealous rage was not intimately in a relationship with Mimi, the person who may have had triggered his demise.
Problem, speaking from a Bishop's perspective, he said it's because, you know, Mimi is of a certain caliber when it comes to spiritually for a long time. I mean, if I had just cut ties completely, I could probably be married right now. I could probably be working on my own family.
What kept you there? What kept you to him? I don't understand.
Well, moving is expensive for one. So once I was there, I was kind of stuck there.
But why do you continue to go back to him? You know what he wants. You know that it's not healthy, but yet you continue to go back, and it brings us to this point where we are now.
Physically,
You keep saying you knew that it wasn't healthy, and you knew it was contributing to something that wasn't good. And,
I think at the
but yet
time,
you guys continue to do it.
yeah, and part of my perspective now has to do with the fact that I'm going through a repentance process that I've worked out with with my bishop.
And obviously, you guys kept this relationship hidden from everybody else, and because nobody really knew about it.
Well,
There were some people who I talked to and said, yeah, they continued to have a relationship even after they broke up. And there are others who were saying that you had become obsessive with him to the point to where you would go into his house when he wasn't there, or when you weren't invited, and he would talk to people saying, she just kind of showed up, and I don't want to tell her to leave, but I don't want her here.
oh, must have been early on, because there were a couple times when we established a rule early on, just don't come over unless, he said you can come over anytime, but I need to know first.
Yes.
He's like, you just never know if
Because you ran into somebody one time, right? Did you run into like one of his ex-girlfriends as well, or was it Deanna that you ran into?
Oh yeah, well that was okay that I was there. He asked me to stay there, and so he needed someone to be there, and it's like I got full house privileges. I could sleep in the bed, I could eat food.
And I've talked to her, and she said that was kind of an unusual kind of situation. She didn't expect you to be there.
She didn't at all, and so at first I was like, did you give Deanna any flack over coming over unannounced? Because we had just set this rule.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I talked to her about it. He's like, but I'll tell you what, I was on the phone for 3 hours with her. She was freaking out that you were there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the more people knew about us associating, the more stress we both got from it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just easier to try and keep it a secret. And we didn't always do a good job at that. I think his roommates may have seen or heard some things. There was actually one roommate, John Hepworth, and I was cleaning his house one day, and John told me, he's like, Travis is dating. And I said, okay. And I assumed he was, going on dates and things. He's like, no, he's really trying to date. And I said, okay. And he's like, he's desperate to get married. And I said, I know that's true. And he's like, I just wanted to tell you that because I don't think he's being honest with you. And I was like, okay. So that night, I confronted him about it, and we had a really big fight. And it was also, just a bunch of things were thrown in the mix together, and then he said, listen, I'm not dating anyone. But he was very angry at John for getting into his business. He told John in a very nice way, I think, hey, I know that you probably have good intentions, but just, mind your own business kind of thing. And from then on, I don't think John really said anything.
I think there's some other things that you're not telling me. I think maybe the jealousy probably continued even after the fact that you moved away. Remember that trip we talked about?
Oh, this year?
Yes.
I'm thinking back.
Detective Flores questioned Jodi about her trip to Utah. He believes Jodi made a stop in Arizona to murder Travis, then leave to Utah to meet up with her new boyfriend as a cover-up. Jodi denies this, but the detective can tell that something is off with her as her car GPS sold her out.
And you decided to go to, instead of going over to Utah, you went straight out to Los Angeles area?
I went to Santa Cruz first.
Santa Cruz.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then I stayed the night in Monterey. And the next day I drove to Pasadena.
There.
I was supposed to get on the 15 and go all the way up.
Mm-hmm.
And I somehow got off the 15.
Where did you end up?
For a while I was lost, and I'm not above sleeping in the car, so I slept for a while. I'm a heavy sleeper and I sleep a lot, so.
But you were on the 15 for a while, and you ended up getting off the 15 somewhere?
Yeah, I looked at a map and I'm pretty sure I know where I went, because I've had a car that has a GPS system in it. It's really. Anyway, so I got back. I was maybe gonna
Did you
go-
actually cross over into Arizona? Is that how far you went?
I crossed over twice, I think. My map was wrong because the 93 goes north, and then I hit the 15 again, and then I got here, and then I hit Arizona, and then went here. Somehow I got north on the 93,
Okay.
and then I hit the 15.
So you took this trip and you left on, was it Monday the 2nd? Right? And you didn't get to Utah until Thursday, you told me.
Yeah, I got to Utah on Thursday.
So Thursday, and that's the 5th?
Yeah, I think so.
Monday, that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, yeah, 5th. Okay, so we have, it's like 48 hours there well, obviously 3 days, but there's 48 hours. So this trip took you a little over 48 hours there. I've gone over this trip over and over in my mind and on paper. even if there's still 20 some odd hours, even if you pulled over to sleep a couple of times.
Oh, did I tell you that I got stranded?
Yeah.
Okay.
You mentioned that. If you slept for 10 hours,
I only slept for about
here
8
and
hours.
here, it would still leave 18 some odd hours for something else. Okay. This is what people are focusing on, is this trip that you took. Because they're saying she left, she didn't get to till Thursday. Wednesday? That's when Travis was killed.
I did not go near his house. Aren't there?
I pulled your cell records. Your cell phone was turned off between here and here. Okay? But the last place it pulled it was here. The next place it turned on was here. What does that show me?
Oh, well, oh, no.
Is there plenty of time for you to do that? Yes. And do I believe that you had come to visit Travis? Yes. I truly believe it. Did you have the opportunity? Yes. You were traveling alone. There's no other witnesses. Your phone just happened to turn off from here to here.
Well, I didn't turn it off physically, but it died.
And then it magically, you found your charger here?
It was packed under the seat of the passenger side. And it was when I was...
When you were lost, you couldn't have maybe pulled over and found it? Or?
Well, I did finally start looking when I was stranded. I wouldn't have pulled over when I was lost.
Okay, I've been focusing on this and going over and over in my mind why this happened. Why your phone turns off here, outside of Los Angeles.
What city is that? Because I
Going
got
towards,
as far as...
There's no cities, there's towers.
Oh, okay. Well,
And there's towers dotted all over this place.
Yeah.
One tower hit here, the other tower here on the 93. There's no way somebody can get on that 15 and magically get on that 93. Because that 15 goes right through Las Vegas, right there, and continues this way. It never goes through Arizona again.
I got off before Las Vegas.
Okay.
I didn't get that
The
close.
15, you'd have to go to Las Vegas and then come down south, go through Boulder City.
I went through Boulder City going north.
Did you cross over the
I know.
dam?
Uh-huh.
You didn't think that was odd? You were crossing it over Arizona?
Well, after I figured out it was lost by then, and I found the 93 and then found my way back to the 15.
And this tower here, it's not just over the border in Arizona, it's quite a distance inside of Arizona that it hit. Because there is a mountain range all along here. And if you're on this side of the mountain range, pretty good distance, that signal's not going to hit Utah or Nevada or California. It's only going to hit in Arizona.
Well, I had somehow gotten off the 15 and got onto the 40. Is what happened.
Well, the only way you can get on the 40 is if after you cross the bridge or the dam.
I think
river dam.
I got on the 40 in California.
From the 15.
Well, because I actually began to drive the 10 West.
But you see what I'm saying, the confusion that we're having? And we'll come back to this over again. But I don't think you're being completely honest with me about that trip.
I honestly got lost. It's bad timing.
Were you at Travis's house on Wednesday?
Absolutely not. I was nowhere near Mesa. I was nowhere near Phoenix.
Even the people with the most amount of patience runs out.
I wasn't even close to him.
What if I could show you proof you were there? Would that change your mind?
I wasn't there.
You can be honest with me, Jodi.
I was not at Travis's house. I was not.
You were at Travis's house. You guys had a sexual encounter, which there's pictures. And I know you know there's pictures, because I have them. I will show them to you. Okay? So, what I'm asking you is for you to be honest with me. I know you were there.
Are you sure those pictures aren't from another time?
Positive. Absolutely positive.
The last time I had any kind of sexual contact with Travis was in April.
Remember I told you about the camera?
Mm-hmm.
Jodi accidentally took pictures of the aftermath with the camera her and Travis were playing with. She tried to destroy the camera in the washing machine, but the SD card of the camera was intact with all the camera footage. Here, Detective Flores is doing a fantastic job of slowly cornering Jodi with the evidence that was gathered.
That camera was damaged. Someone put it in a washing machine, ran it through a wash cycle, with some clothes of Travis's, but the card's intact. Remember I told you that card was destroyed? I didn't want to tell you the truth, because I wanted to make sure those photos were accurate. And we can pull deleted photos. I don't care if you delete them 6 months ago. We can pull every photo that was ever on there. Pull the little pixels together, get the timestamps on them. Not all of them, but most of them have timestamps on them, and we can verify those timestamps. And I have pictures of you in Travis's bedroom with Travis, pictures of him, and it's obvious you guys are having sex, taking photos of each other, and they're dated and timestamped on the day he died.
Are you sure it's me? I mean, that because I was
Jodi,
not there.
It's you. And you know it's you. I know all the details of this case. The only thing I don't know is why. Why did you choose to go visit Travis that day? And why did you do what you did?
I've never
Why,
heard
Jodi?
Travis.
You did. You hurt him. That's why we're here. That's why I flew up here. Because I needed to talk to you about this. I can just arrest you and throw you in jail, but I want to know why. Why did you do this to him?
I wouldn't hurt Travis. He's done so much for me.
There's so much evidence in that house. So much. And it all points to you.
I lived there. I was there for months and months and months.
I know you took pictures of him in the shower just before he died.
I don't think he would allow that.
And the camera actually took a couple of photos by accident during the time he was being killed.
Really?
Yeah, Jodi, really. You were there. Quit playing this game. It's time for you to just come out and,
I
and
didn't
tell me.
know. I did not hurt Travis. I did not hurt Travis. I wouldn't do that to him. Can I see the pictures?
We have your blood at the scene. Your hair was blood at the scene. Your left palm print at the scene. In blood. What's going on there?
Well, I can explain the blood in the hair. I don't know about my left palm print.
How can you explain the blood in there?
Well, because I used to bathe Napoleon all the time. And,
You haven't been there since April, right?
well,
He's had the house cleaned several times since then. And this hair was not just a hair, you know, from the shower or something. This hair was stuck with blood, and obviously had blood on it. At the time it got stuck where it ended up.
my
there's
hair would have
no
been
way.
all over.
There's no other hair.
Can you
that
take
was-
a hair sample?
We
And
have your DNA.
No, but I mean, like, you know how they can do drug tests and find out when things were done?
No,
Can you,
we can't do that.
can't you measure the time?
We have DNA matching that hair too.
Okay, I know, but my
And that hair had a follicle on it, and that means that that hair wasn't there very long. The follicle will usually dissipate and go away after a certain time. It'll fall off, the hair itself.
well, when I would
Okay,
brush my hair
Jodi.
there, I mean,
This one, you absolutely cannot explain that away. You either had blood on your hand and you touched the wall, or there was blood on the wall and you touched the blood.
could my palm print have already been there and then I touched it?
Jodi, this is over. This is absolutely over. You need to tell me the truth.
Listen, the truth is I did not hurt Travis. Okay, so we're
Jodi,
safe.
you can continue to do this, okay? A records check shows you that you has reported a gun stolen, 25 auto. Just happens to be the same caliber as the weapon used to kill him.
A 25 auto was used to kill Travis.
Yeah, along with multiple stab wounds. Jodi, if you want, I can show you some pictures of him. Do you want to see pictures of him?
Part of me does and part of me doesn't.
Why, because you don't want to remember?
No,
Jodi.
there's a morbid curiosity.
Jodi,
I wanted to know how he died.
we can keep playing these games over and over again. I'm not going to believe you.
All
When
right.
you start telling me the
Listen.
truth, then I can believe you. But I can't deny this evidence. I can't. The trip you took doesn't make sense. The opportunity was there. your pictures on that date with him. Your blood is in the house, mixed with his. Mixed. Not alongside, but mixed. Your hair is there with blood. And your palm print is there in blood.
Was it?
It's over.
Could it have been my blood from before?
Your image is not important right now. Saving the rest of your life is.
Listen, if I'm found guilty, I don't have a life. I'm not guilty. I didn't hurt Travis. If I hurt Travis, if I killed Travis, I would beg for the death penalty.
Was there anybody else with you?
I was traveling alone the whole time.
Was there anybody else with you at Travis's house on Wednesday the 4th?
I was not at Travis's house on Wednesday.
You were? Because that's when the blood was left on, the bloody palm print was left on his wall. I don't know what to tell you. If you were in my shoes and I had this evidence against you, what would you say?
If I had that evidence against you, it'd be pretty obvious. But I guess being in my position, it just seems so impossible. I'd want to see it. I'd want to know. I mean, I'm not a murderer, but I guess if I were to do that, I would wear gloves or, something. How could I don't know.
I know you tried to wash him off, try to get some of the blood off, try to clean him up a little bit. But you're even denying the pictures of you being there. There's pictures of you laying on the bed in pigtails.
Pigtails?
Yes. And I've got pictures of you that I've blown up, and you've got the little mole right there. It's the same one. It's you. It's obvious. I can show you some of these pictures. You want to see the pictures? Will that change your mind?
I mean, I am curious.
Okay, let me take a break and let me go find them. And I'll bring them and show you.
I wasn't there.
But you need to think about what you're saying. This continuing to lie is not going to help you.
Admitting to something I didn't do won't help me either. Okay, let's say for a second that I did. And I say, I did it. I mean...
The motive is there. The jealousy issue.
But I wouldn't even say I was jealous. I mean, there may have been some jealousy there, but
Then what is
I think
it?
if
What
anyone,
caused this?
I think if anyone, maybe Travis was jealous, but
That's not what everybody else says. Well, they know he was jealous, but they think that you are absolutely obsessed. Obsessed is the word that they use. That's the word I hear from everybody. Fatal attraction. I don't know how many times I've heard that. Look at Jodi. Jodi had to have done this, or she got someone to do it for her. There's not one person that says anything else. Why is that? That's the perception they have of you. And there's a reason for that perception. Maybe because it's true. Maybe things got out of hand.
did you find the gun? Maybe that would...
Jodi, we're just playing games here. That gun was in your possession. When did you report it stolen?
I didn't even know that there were guns until my grandparents reported it stolen the day that their house was broken into.
When was that?
I don't remember. It was a few months ago, maybe.
What did you do with the gun?
I don't have a gun.
They're going through your house right now, so are they going to find anything there that will lead you back to this?
I don't think they would. I mean, there's nothing that could link me there. I mean, that's pretty compelling, I have to admit. If you found my palm print there, I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to take a little break, but I need you to think about what you're doing here. Because the best thing for you to do is to tell me the truth. Tell me exactly what happened, because you know what? I think your mom and your dad really deserve the truth. They're going to be asking. And it's absolutely, it's so important that you tell me why this occurred, what was going through your mind, and what caused you to do this. It happened, and I can prove it happened, and there's no doubt in my mind, and there absolutely is no doubt in anybody else's mind who's investigating this, that you were there and that you did this. But I'll let you think about that, okay? And I'm gonna go look for some pictures, and I'll bring them over, and we'll continue this discussion. Okay, let me go find them. I'll be right back.
Tex, I'm not a murderer. What kind of gun is that? Just curious.
It's a Glock.
I just bought a gun.
Yeah. Did you? You probably found it by now.
Probably. I was taking it somewhere.
These are just a few photos.
If Travis were here today, he would tell you that it wasn't me.
No. My job is to speak for Travis right now. And everything Travis is telling me is that Jodi did this to me. Have you ever shot that 25 auto?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever touched it?
The one that was stolen? I've never seen it.
Where's that one? Remember him?
Is he naked? In the shower?
Yep. Let's see, this is
Travis would never go for that.
soon after you and him had sex on his bed. Let's just say I've seen all of you. And I've seen all of Travis. But the one that sticks in my mind of Travis is on the autopsy table. And I'm not going to show you that. Or should I? But this one I don't know if I should show you, but nothing bad. Too bad. But it's just one of the photos that was taken by accident. And this is just a small portion of it. It's your foot, Jodi. These are your pants. No, it's off color because we had to enhance it and the color kind of changes a little bit. Let's try this.
This is his bathroom. That is not my foot.
These are your pants. It's a different color, like I said, because we had to enhance it and the color changes.
How can that be my palm print?
Because you were there.
What is this?
That's before we used a chemical. We thought we'd get something from there, but this is where your palm print was. Right on the wall. I can go over and over and over again. I don't know why. It's killing me inside. I
That's
don't know
the
why.
thing. Like, there's no reason for it. There's no reason why. There's no reason I would ever want to hurt him.
There's no way anybody else.
He
could-
never raped me.
Nobody.
He never.
There's no way anyone else could have left your palm print in blood on that wall. No way. Get that through your head.
If I was going to ever try to kill somebody, I would use gloves. I have plenty of them.
Nobody said you were, you had planned this out perfectly. Maybe you were going there to just talk to him, have a good time with him. Something got out of hand.
Even if I were there, and even if I were going there to just have a good time with him,
What if I tell you somebody saw you there? A neighbor. Do you remember some of the neighbors?
just
What about
Dave.
you? The next door neighbor?
Mhm.
And his wife?
I don't know his wife.
Okay. What about some of the neighbors across the street?
No, I've never met them.
No. But you've hung around there quite a bit and they know you.
Mhm.
Yeah, they've seen you there on that day.
I wasn't there that day.
Jodi, you were there that day.
And even if I'm trying to think, the majority of the time that I spent there, I had platinum blonde hair. So I mean, and I've never once said hi to them, met them, shook their hand, met them face to face, crossed the street. When I spent time there, he wanted to keep it private, so it was, I spent the majority of my time inside. Going through that tunnel, is that surveillance?
No.
Is there surveillance anywhere?
Unless you ran a red line. Unless you got caught on a speed camera. But nothing beats that stuff. And I have a solid case against you. And I can present it to the judge. As cold as it is now. I don't know why she did it. Or I can present it to the judge. My job is to investigate, find out who did it, why they did it, and present it to a court. And that's it.
I just can't imagine.
You have something to tell me, but you're just so resistant. I know you're afraid, but you're already going through it right now. There's no backing up. There's no backing up to yesterday. There's no backing up to that day. It already happened. And unfortunately, you're gonna have to face the consequences. You can continue to say, I didn't do it.
Well,
But you're the kid that got caught on videotape stealing the candy. And you continue to say, it wasn't me. have the proof. I have the pictures. It wasn't me. I don't think you would admit to it if your own mother saw you do this, and she told me, yeah, I saw her do this. You would say, no, it wasn't me. Why won't you admit to it?
I just can't. I didn't kill Travis. I just didn't. I did not take his life.
The blood? No.
Well,
The blood is mixed with his, and that's the blood that he bled that day when he was killed.
well,
Print?
I don't
Yeah,
know
absolutely
if you can
not.
check how fresh the blood was.
No, we can't check how fresh it is, but we can go by where it is.
Oh, okay, because I cut myself. When I
And
was,
you're saying that blood that you cut yourself with back, who knows when,
well,
was still on the wall in
oh.
the exact same spot
oh, I don't know.
where the bloody palm print was.
It was a glass that Travis had that I was using to wash Napoleon with. I used to give him baths. And I dropped it. And when I picked up all the glass, and I'm pretty casual about it because I break glass at work all the time. And it's not a big deal. It's nothing to be scared of. And I was probably just being careless with it. And I sliced myself open and...
Is that how you want to leave this? Just these far-fetched excuses on why your blood is there, why your hair is there, why your palm print is there, what pictures are there.
I don't know about the pictures.
That's how you want to leave this? I wouldn't want to. I seriously would not want to. You need to come out and tell me why this happened. I will not accept any other excuses. I will just move on with my investigation, with my final report, submitting all the conclusions and all the evidence. And we can just let a judge and a jury decide. You yourself said that if you were in my shoes, you would think that I was guilty. I know that Travis was either in the shower or just outside the shower when he was shot. And I know somebody who was extremely angry at him, took a knife to him, and couldn't stop. Couldn't stop. And before you knew it, it was all over. And then you panicked. And then...
I've never been that angry at him. Not enough for that. I've been so far angrier at other people, at other ex-boyfriends.
Then tell me who could have done this. Who did this?
I don't know, but if I go to trial for this, and if I'm convicted for this, whoever did this is going to be sitting very pretty somewhere. Glad that it wasn't them.
And it's my job to make sure that an innocent person does not go to jail. But I don't see an innocent person sitting in front of me. When I asked you, I always ask this one question. Actually, it's two. First one is, did you kill Travis? And you kind of hesitated a little and said, I didn't have anything to do with it. Then I asked you a similar question. Did you have anything to do with Travis's death? You hesitated again.
Well, that's because I feel like if I had gone to Arizona like he
Most
asked,
people would say, no. Did you kill Travis? No.
well, I didn't, and I didn't have anything to do with it. Now, do I feel responsible? I've been carrying around guilt since I heard about it.
Why do you feel responsible? If you felt responsible, it means you know something else.
No, because
It means
I
your
didn't.
actions led to his death.
Because he always has guilted me. He's always guilted me. And the last
So you
time
feel
we
somebody
talked-
else killed him.
Well, yeah.
For what reason?
I don't know. I don't know
Then
that.
how do you feel guilty?
He described it.
Did you ever touch his camera?
I've never seen it.
Okay, so there's no reason your fingerprint should be on it.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Because that thing's off at a lab right now. And they're hopeful that they can get some prints off the camera.
Okay.
And if your prints come back on that camera, what are you going to say?
Well, they won't come back on it because I never touched it.
That you still can't explain the rest of this stuff.
I honestly can't explain the pictures. The other stuff, or the palm print. The other stuff I can explain.
No, you can't explain the blood either. Because that blood is in blood. I mean, it's part of the print. Unless you cut yourself at the beginning of the year and left your palm print in blood, and it stayed there until he was killed.
I cut myself. It wasn't the beginning of the year. It was before convention.
No, you can't explain it.
I'd have to say early March.
That palm print is there, in blood. Partially yours and partially his.
Is it possible that there's just like any other way in the universe that could have gotten there?
Possible. Probable is the question you need to ask, and probable is absolutely not probable.
I understand that, but it is possible.
Anything is possible. And since you're not giving me an explanation, I guess we'll just continue with the
I just have
issues.
no reason to hurt Travis.
You do have reason to hurt Travis.
What would my reason possibly be?
There's a whole history of you two,
But-
and everybody knows it.
I have a whole history with other guys that
Why
like years.
is everybody saying that you had something to do with his death? Why is everybody saying that you were capable of hurting him? Everybody says that.
I don't know why anyone
So don't
thinks
tell
I'm
me that you're
capable.
not capable.
I don't even hurt spiders.
Have you ever had any anger issues before? Never in your past?
I've had arguments over Travis.
Well, everybody has arguments. I'm talking about anger. Just
Mhm.
absolute anger. Where you lose it sometimes.
Oh, I kicked a dog once. I was a freshman in high school, and I love animals. And we had this dog, his name was Doggy Boy, and my parents, until this dog that they have now, have never been able to, and I don't mean just them, we as a family have never been able to care for a dog properly as far as give it attention and take it for walks and be consistent. So this dog stayed in the backyard a lot, and he stayed tied up on, in the shade with plenty of, leeway. At one point though, he was untied, and I took the trash out, and this is when my little brother and sister were still in diapers, and he tore it was a diaper trash, and he tore diapers all over the yard. And of course I had to clean it up, and when diapers get wet, and they're like this jelly, spongy, weird stuff, and I got mad, and I just kicked him with my right foot, and he just moved a few feet, and he didn't yelp or anything, but he ran away, and I never saw him again after that. And I mean, that's probably an anger issue, I guess. But
well, one time kicking a dog is not an anger issue.
it changed my world as far as animal treatment goes, because I've never seen him since. And I need to apologize for that to him. I know it sounds weird, my relationship with animals, it's kind of like they're like people too, they have souls.
What you need to do is you need to apologize to Travis. But you just refuse.
Listen.
I can't help you anymore if you're not gonna help yourself.
You asked
I
me
really
prior.
can't. I can't, Jodi. You can keep talking till you're blue in the face, and I can't continue to listen to lies.
I don't know why he was killed. I don't know why. I had issues with Travis. If anything, he had more issues with me. I've had worse issues with other people. They're all still alive. I'm still friends with my ex-boyfriends. They're all still alive.
You know, I've been doing this a long time. And there's one thing that I can never get out of my head. Ever since the first day I talked to you. There's an old saying that, someone's just not acting right. Look into it. You have not acted right from day one. From day one when I talked to you on that phone, I just sensed that you weren't acting like somebody who used to love this guy, or who still loved him, even as a close friend. And even now, when I told you that I have all this evidence against you and that you're facing first-degree murder charges, you're just not acting right, Jodi. You're acting like somebody who's guilty. But within the first 30 seconds to a minute of a conversation, I know when somebody's acting right. There's a certain way people act.
How did I act?
Okay?
It would
It's not
make
like
you think.
it's not like TV. It's not anything like that. It's not what you see in the movies. I see reality. When I accuse somebody of committing a heinous crime or something very serious, reality hits in, and they definitely act a certain way, and that's not you. You act just like everybody else who I accuse of doing a crime, who did it. There's no other way to tell you.
Is it because I'm not crying?
No. It's not because of that.
What is it? I mean, I'm not going to change how I act.
No,
so
obviously you
it's
can't
like-
change the way you're
No,
acting.
I mean, I am who I am.
Okay, you're sincere in the way you're acting, but
Well, how is
you're just not telling the truth.
How is it different?
Well, it's not really something you need to focus on anymore. I think you need to focus on the truth, but it's something that you refuse. So if you don't want to continue, then we'll just move on to the next step.
And I was fine with that. I haven't found the man that I want to marry, the person I want to spend my life with. But in my mind, Travis did, and I was happy for him, and I thought there was also a part of me that felt, if I stay, I'm going to jeopardize that for him as well. We both deserve to be happy. We both deserve to have, be married in the temple. And that's where he wanted to go. So, I mean, I didn't know that Mimi didn't feel that way. I had never spoken to her except at church. Maybe this is something that's wrong with me psychologically, is I think of the butterfly effect. And it's like, you could say that the guy pumping gas down at the gas station could have potentially, because you see all these movies, these funky movies where it's like this affected this, which affected this, which affected this, if you had never done this.
I know if you'd never met him, you'd probably still be alive.
That's true.
Yeah, but that's because you killed him.
No.
Jodi, you did.
I did not.
Jodi, you can't convince me otherwise, unless you come up with more proof that you didn't. But I can't prove that
Could
anybody
it?
else did. No, it couldn't have.
Well, what about if the car comes back that it was never even in that area?
It still doesn't negate the fact that we have this other evidence. I mean, this is absolutely some of the best evidence I've ever had in a case, and I've convicted a few people on less than this.
Well, so I'm as good as done, right? With that evidence.
Yeah.
I just can't admit to something that I didn't do. If it would help my case and give me an easier sentence, I know that people plead guilty for those things.
No. And what I want to do is I want to sit here with you, and I want to go over why you visited him that day, what you guys talked about, what caused you to get so angry, and the details on how it happened. And it's something that you probably don't want to remember, but it's something that I need, because for me to finish a case completely, I need to know not just the details, but what was going through your mind.
I wish that I had answers. I'm sorry.
You need to just let the answers come out.
There's just no reason. There's just no reason.
There's no good reason why this happened. There's never a good reason why somebody dies like this.
How many times was Travis stabbed?
More than I want to remember. And I'm not going to sit here and show you pictures of him after the fact. I don't do that. That's not how I work. That is not for me to do. But eventually those photos will come out. Jodi. Jodi, we're here now. We're right here. I think you're feeling the reality in the moment now.
Damn, that was a ruthless comment on the reality of the situation. The crime won't get her out of this murder case. This man has clearly been through many interrogations before.
No, I'm just feeling all of the things that I'm going to potentially miss out on with my family, and I think of all the things that Travis's family is going to miss out on with Travis. And he had brothers and sisters, and I have brothers and sisters. And he... It's not fair. There's just no reason I would ever want to hurt him.
Well, whether you wanted to is a different question.
I'm just saying.
I don't think you wanted to. I really don't think you wanted to. But this speaks for itself. It speaks for itself, Jodi. It goes beyond speculation. This is way beyond speculation. This is downright proof. But there's no backstory to it. All I know is that I need a story, or else it's just cold. It's so cold. And it's going to be up to the prosecutor to paint that picture. And if you want that prosecutor, and I've met him, and you don't want him painting that picture, because he is good at what he does. I've worked with him before. And you allow him to paint that picture for you, it's not going to be good.
It looks like you don't really need anything. It just looks like, it looks like you don't even need a good prosecutor anyway. So,
You're right.
I have to maintain my innocence. I can't admit to doing something that I haven't done. Part of me wants to cop out and say it.
No.
Well,
if you're gonna cop out, it's because you're telling the truth.
Well, that's not really copping out.
Yeah, I don't want you to sit here and tell me a lie to appease me. That is the worst thing you can do for me. But back there in that mind of yours is somebody screaming to get out and tell me what happened, but you just cannot.
There's just no
Well, I have more work to do.
Can you give me a rundown of what's going to happen from here when you leave?
Yeah, you're,
Like, just today, for example.
well, you'll probably be taken across the street to the county jail. You'll be processed through there. You'll be set in front of a judge, at least within 24 hours. And there's a warrant for your arrest, and the bond is $2 million. If you can come up with a $2 million bond, then the judge will decide whether to, accept that $2 million or not. Okay?
Can I use the bathroom?
Yeah, I'll get someone to come take you.
I'm not, like, violent and I'm going to run. It's Wairika. So, I mean, do I have to go in handcuffs everywhere? That's just procedure.
Whether you wrote a bad check or you're facing murder charges, you're gonna go in handcuffs. That's just the way it is. Okay? They don't take different precautions for different people. It's the same for everybody. So I'm sorry.
All right. If you want to go ahead and stand up for me, as I take these cuffs off, just go ahead and put your hands down at the waist, okay? Today's date is July 16th, and my name is Detective Rachel Blaney, and I'm here with Jodi Arias. Is that how you say your last name? Arias. Okay, I'm sorry. This is just formality, and this is, if I have to, write up a report of what we talked about, at least I know word for word, what you said, and there's no mistakes. Okay, so it's for your own protection or good that we record it. And before we go any further, I need to read your Miranda rights again, just to make sure that you understand. Do you understand that? Okay. The reason that I wanted to talk with you this morning, there's a couple of reasons actually. I have been privy to the investigation and all of the evidence in this case, and to your conversation with Detective Flores yesterday. And there's really no, let me say this, it's obvious to me that you're not our typical suspect. You know, you come from a good home, a good family. Your parents obviously care about you. That was evident, you know, when they talked to him yesterday. And you're a bright girl, probably more intelligent than you were letting on yesterday. And there's no question in my mind or any of the other investigators' mind that you were the person that took Travis's life. But what I need to know, or what I'd like to know, and give you the opportunity to do, is determine whether, you know, you're a cold-blooded, cold-hearted murderer who slaughtered this guy, or are you somebody that got caught up in circumstances and things got out of control? I think in every person that anybody could be capable of harming another person. I think it's in our nature, and generally most people suppress that. But I think given the right circumstances and, you know, the right time and the right place, anybody could be, you know, capable of harming another person. And I'm hoping, because you come from a good family and because you have a, you know, a decent background, I'm hoping that you'll be smart about things and make some choices for yourself to help better your situation. When this hits the news, and it'll go to the media, do you want to be portrayed as that cold-blooded, cold-hearted murderer? Because the media loves that. That's not, you know, that won't be our words or their words when they do a press release, but that's what, you know, the media will take a look at the facts and that's what they'll portray it as. Or do you want to be portrayed as a person that didn't mean to have any of this happen? It just got out of hand, and you're remorseful. You know, which way do you want to go? How do you want to portray yourself?
Travis always used to call me, not always, but very frequently, and so that's the hardest part is when I go to sleep at night, and if he wasn't calling, then I just call him, and sometimes I would just call anyway to just hear his voicemail.
There's no doubt in anybody's mind what happened that day. There's no doubt that you were involved that day that Travis died.
Listen, I know that I wasn't involved in Travis' death.
Okay. I would certainly think that it's to your benefit to appear as this is something that just happened. You didn't plan it. It was, you know, it was a heated moment, and you didn't mean to hurt him. Because you didn't mean to hurt him, did you?
I've hurt him very much emotionally, and I never meant to hurt him.
And just because I'm a cop doesn't mean that I don't care, you know, about humanity and people. You know, I'm not sitting here judging you. I'm trying to help you out. I'm trying to give you a chance to make things right. But when you continue to deny when it's obvious that that's not the case, you appear to be the cold-blooded killer. You know, do you want to be out there and like the O.J. Simpsons? You know, nobody respected him afterwards, even though he maintained his innocence. How do you want to be portrayed? And I'm not making that stuff up. I mean, that's just reality, Jodi. That's the way our society works. That's the way this world works. And things are going to start moving real fast here for you. This is kind of a pause, you know, before things, you know, start getting heavy. This is your opportunity to help yourself out. But I've never seen a case with so much concrete, hard evidence. We don't need you to tell us anything. I'm doing this for you. Arizona's case goes no matter what. They've got a rock-solid case. Nobody's going to believe that you didn't do it after they see the evidence. It is what it is.
I don't feel like I have any control over what the media says anyway.
Well, you do, to a certain degree. You can have the opportunity to tell your side of the story. You can't change what happened. You can't go back and undo it. It's a done deal. But hopefully you're smart enough to realize that you can have a little bit of control of how you're portrayed.
You know, so marriage, as much as I love Travis, I just have always, there's something inside that says he's not the guy you're going to marry.
So then what was it? What was it that led up to all of this? I mean, there's got to be something. And if you're smart, you'll realize that, you know, you're not going to get a whole lot of other chances to do this. Probably none. Once the wheels start turning, they move real fast. And you will be out of control then. I don't think you're the type of person that can sit there during a trial and see Travis's family sitting over there and continue to maintain that lie in yourself without it tearing you up.
I don't think I could either. The only image they're going to be stuck with is Jodi in a big orange suit.
Yeah, but does Jodi have a heart, or is it cold and ice?
They know it's what my heart's like. They raised me. And they lived around me forever.
How about the rest of the people that just know you as far as an image, that doesn't know you personally? Do you care about that?
I care.
How about Travis's family?
I care very much about Travis's family, and I can't alter the way they think. They hate me regardless.
It's true that their feelings are probably always going to be negative about you. You know, you took their son's life. They can never get over
I
that.
want to take Travis's life.
It's clear to everybody what happened.
I just don't see how any of that could help. I don't. I think that my situation is hopeless, and I don't think that I can help myself.
Are you sorry for what happened to him?
Of course I am. That's awful what happened to him. He
Did you
didn't
ever
show me
think-
any pictures, but he showed me the carpet.
It was pretty horrific.
You know, Travis was very strong. I watched him work out a couple of times. It's super intense. My dad has worked out all my life. He's been a bodybuilder, sort of, not professional. It's just always been really big. And I've seen him work out, but I've never seen anyone work out like Travis. And he's just, you know, a couple times he was really into UFC. A couple times he would show me some wrestling moves, and I was just powerless. Like, there's no way out of it.
Here, Jodi tries to discredit the fact that she murdered Travis by portraying herself weak and Travis as dangerous and powerful, even though Jodi wielded a gun and a knife to exterminate Travis. Throughout the entire interrogation, Jodi tries to portray herself as a cute, innocent woman that could not hurt a bug, even a spider. However, she comes off very disingenuous, and it seems just like an obvious act.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to take a break for a couple of minutes. I see if you still got some water. I was going to give you some more water.
Yeah, if you could bring one more, that'd be nice.
Take a minute just to think about what I said, and I'll leave you alone while I do that. Just more water. Jodi, I'm really confused. Maybe I did have a wrong picture of you. You know, all of this time that you and I have been talking, and I got information from your other interview, you are talking about insignificant things at this point. You're talking about money, you're talking about material things, you're talking about everything but...
I'm just talking
You're
about
talking
things
about
that
just-
affect the people I care about.
You're talking about everything but how bad you feel about Travis. You only respond to my questions.
If I murdered
specifically
Travis, I
about
would be
Travis.
very remorseful.
I think that I've gotten the wrong picture of you. I think that, you know, maybe I was wrong. Maybe you are that cold-blooded person that they're trying to portray. And, you know, I'm just really confused. At this point, you know, maybe you're right. Maybe there isn't anything that you can do to help yourself. You know, maybe I was wrong. Maybe you're not as intelligent as I thought you were. Maybe I was wrong. What do you think should happen to the person that murdered Travis?
You know, I've never been one for an eye for an eye, but they took his life, and even the Book of Mormon says that that calls for the life of the person that took his life.
Do you think that's the path that you're going down right now, and it's inevitable, so why fight it?
I'm not sure, kind of, but I'm not sure. I don't know where I'm going.
So, tell me this. After looking at all the evidence, and what I think is crystal clear, if you didn't kill Travis, then who did?
He was private about a lot of aspects of his life.
Mm-hmm.
He told me some things I got from some of his, you know, Facebook account, email account, or MySpace or whatever, because I had the passwords to those. But I don't know, like, occasionally he would get solicitations, but he would always respond, not to answer the solicitation, but to kind of call the person out. And I don't know if anything ever came of those. I don't know. I know his tires were slashed.
If you didn't do it, then who did? Because everything is pointing to you, not just pointing to you, but, you know, screaming that Jodi killed Travis.
Listen, I don't care so much
No,
about
you listen. You are not grasping the reality here, Jodi. You know, you're worried about wedding pictures and, you know, all this other stuff that is really insignificant.
Well, listen, my life is over. Travis's life is over. I'm sorry about Travis. I didn't take his life.
All right, well, I guess I was wrong.
The reason I cared about those other things is because those people still have lives, and I care about those people. And they don't know where their stuff is, you know? I happen to be in possession of their stuff, and so...
All I know is all of the innocent people that I've talked to that have been accused of a crime don't act the way that you do. Show me that I wasn't wrong, Jodi. Show me what's inside your heart and not what's on the exterior. Help me understand why it happened and that it wasn't cold and calculated and planned. Because that's how everything points right now. You owe that at least to Travis's family. Give them some closure. Because I know, just from working with all these families that have lost loved ones, that they're not struggling with who did it, they're struggling with why.
That's what I've been struggling with.
Do you not understand why you did it yourself, maybe?
I can't imagine what it would be like to lose one of my brothers.
Wouldn't you want to know why you lost one of your brothers?
Yeah.
Either way, those detectives in Arizona have their case made. But the least you can do for that family is give them an answer. Maybe you can't understand why, but what led up to it? What would you say to them? Because that would help them with the why. If you're struggling with the why within yourself, then what led up to it? How could you explain to his mom and dad what led up to it that would help them understand?
I'm sorry.
Are you saying that to me, or are you saying that to his family?
To everybody. To his family, to my family. To Travis. To God.
And if you truly are sorry, Jodi, clear your conscience and give them an understanding of what led up to it.
Could you be clear just like you?
Sure. I'll be right back. That's all we have is toilet paper. Well, maybe you don't know why, and I understand, that's a pretty deep philosophical thing that you'll be, struggling with within yourself, I'm guessing. But the factual things that led up to it, and then, people can draw their own conclusions from there. But sitting there silent and not saying anything makes you look like a horrible person. Do you think at this point that your pride matters more than Travis's family's grief?
I think I'm selfish. And one time we met in Ehrenberg when I lived in Southern California. So we could just rent a hotel room and make out the whole weekend and whatever. But we drove to go see a movie and like overweight but they have their animals are starving. Everywhere you go, they got ribs sticking out. It used to make us both so bad. Travis bought, we ended up splitting it, but Travis bought 7 cheeseburgers.
Then where did things go wrong, Jodi?
I don't know.
This is your opportunity to make right on some of your selfishness. And let the family decide how they're going to deal with that information and how they're going to use it.
I wasn't angry at Travis. Everyone keeps saying whoever did this was so angry.
Then what were you? So if it's not jealousy and it's not anger, then what was it? Did you go there with the intention to kill him? Did you mean for that to happen?
I'm not really good at expressing myself. I think I'm just gonna write his family a letter.
Would you like to write him a letter now?
I think I want to. I mean, I could start, but it would just be like a rough draft. It wouldn't be something that I'm ready to submit. I would want to think about it and make sure that that's what I really want to say. And I know that you want everything now, but and if you don't want to do that or help me anymore, that's fine. But I'm still going to write him a letter, I think.
Well, I think that's a good idea for you to write him a letter. As far as the now goes for me, like I said, it's not going to make any difference for me.
He has a lot of brothers and sisters. I think he has 3 sisters, maybe 4. Tanisha, Samantha. I don't remember. And he has some brothers. A big brother and a little brother.
So what about his grandma and siblings? Do you want to walk away from here today without giving them something to understand? And to tell you the truth, I think that I think I've done all I can here. I was hoping to, be able to relay some sort of information or message to the family, because they deserve it. And you have the power there. You have the control. You're the only one that can give that. And I'm tired of playing games. I'm tired of skirting around it. I thought that it would be easier for you to talk to a woman, to say what you need to say to a woman. Sometimes it is. It's not as threatening. But unless you're willing to give me something to help you with, and I can help you, walk down that path and remember those details, then I can't do anything for you. After today, things are going to go so fast for you, you're going to be totally out of control of the situation. The wheels of justice will start turning.
I'd like to,
Then what's holding you
I'd
back?
like to begin I don't know, because I don't know what to say to them.
Well, let's throw a few things out. You said you were sorry?
Yeah, sorry seems so meaningless. Of course I'm sorry.
Unless you back it up with something else as to why you're sorry. You're right. There's not going to be any situation or place that's going to make it any easier for you. This is as good as it gets for you right now.
Yesterday, Detective Flores asked me if I wanted to see those pictures, and I told him no.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that's going to help you?
I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let me check and see if we can get you some pictures to look at.
It hold my nerves up. Maybe they were all pictures, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of pictures. I'll be right back. Jodi, Detective Flores has the binder with those pictures, and he's not here in our office right now. But I put a call in to try and find him and get him back here. He's still in town. He's just not here. Would you rather talk to him? If you do, that's fine, and I'm sure that he'd be willing to talk with you again. Or would you rather continue talking with me?
Rachel called me and told me that you wanted to talk to me. I was just on the phone with Travis's sister, and I told her I talked to you. Smith. Rachel said something about you wanting to see some photos, but I don't think I can show you any more photos.
Why not?
No, just... I don't like doing that. Because something might happen to you. You might... First off, it's not something I do. And those photos will never leave my head. I'm sure they'll never leave yours either. One thing you gotta remember is that by the time he was found, the images that you saw were different than the ones that I saw. Things change over time. His body changes after time. We had a difficult time identifying who he was by the time we got there. He wasn't the same person. So that's why I don't want to show you photos.
I know that you talk to his family, and
Every day. They can't believe it. I called him yesterday and told him they just can't believe
who
it.
did you talk to?
I mean, there's things that I would think of if I was in your situation. I'd want to take care of the people who love me and that I love, and want to make sure that everything was set. Because certain things you're not going to be able to do anymore.
Like hug my family.
No, you'll be able to.
Well, if you come visit, it's like behind a glass, you know?
No, it's not.
It isn't here.
No, in Arizona.
They're not gonna come to Arizona.
I guarantee you they'll come to Arizona and see you.
So yeah, when you say there are certain things that I won't do anymore, I know that's really sinking in. Quite a bit.
But the biggest question that everybody always asks is why? It's the biggest question of our life.
It is.
Why are we here? Why do we suffer? Why do we go through the things that we do?
Why do we hurt each other?
What time did you get there that day? The pictures that I have, the first ones, show you there at about 1:45 or so. Was it soon before that, or had you been there for a while already? I know his roommates are off at work during that time and don't come home till about 6:30, 7 o'clock. They don't even talk to him, really. It just seems like they just kind of rent rooms and they don't really socialize, and they kind of stick to themselves. I have questions too. Were you going to try to convince him not to go to Mexico? Were you going to
Oh no.
try to convince him to go on a trip with you, or?
No, he would never not go to Mexico. I would never want him to not go. He was going to see Chichen Itza, and it's on the list of 1,000 places.
It's one of the things I want to do in my lifetime.
Yeah, it's an important part of our history, both in the church and against our heritage too.
That's where my people come from.
Yeah.
So why were you there that day? Please tell me. Did you just miss him? Did he call you? Did he miss you? What was it? The only other explanation I can think of is that you went there for one purpose, and that's to hurt him. And if that's the case, if that's the truth, then that's what you need to say. If you want me to call and tell his family that you're sorry and that you apologize for what happened, I can do that. Whatever you want. This is your time right now. I flew up here for a lot of different reasons, and one of them, the main reason, was to sit down with you here and talk to you about what happened. I did it yesterday, and now I'm here today. But the time is limited.
There's so many things that I want to say.
Start with one. Start with the beginning. Was it a last-minute change from your trip to come down, down to Arizona? I bet you were going through your head. Should I just go, or should I just keep going to Utah? It's only an additional 300 miles from where you were, so. Jodi.
I'm sorry, I just don't know what to do. I'm trying to just figure it out.
I'm right here. I'm right in front of you. This is what you need to focus on right now. Look at me. Please. They want to know. Was somebody else there with you?
If I just told you every single detail that I know, and I gave you a confession?
Nothing else changes. It just speeds up the process.
In what way? Do I go to Arizona faster?
Yeah. The process in Arizona speeds up.
So if I maintain my innocence, then I stay here longer? Just insist
No,
on
you don't
doing
really
it?
stay here longer. That speeds up the process in Arizona.
Like the trial and all that jazz?
Do you want to put your family through a trial? That's another question you have to ask yourself.
No. Can I do it all without a trial, or does it have to be a trial?
It's something that you can discuss with the prosecutor.
Oh.
And I'm on the phone with him pretty much every day, giving him updates.
What's his name?
His name is Juan Martinez. And he's the #1 prosecutor in Phoenix. Well, at least in my book he is.
Is Phoenix part of Marco?
Yes.
I wonder if I should just get a lawyer first.
That's completely up to you.
I know that you can't stay here forever and you need to go back. If I get one, will you be able to still talk to me afterward, or does everything stop, or what?
I'll tell you exactly what the lawyer's going to tell you to do. He's going to say, nope,
No one what?
no more contact. She had her chance. You had your chance to talk to her. It's over.
Well, I mean, I just would want his advice, and it doesn't necessarily mean that he, that I'm going to take his advice, nor does it mean that, you know,
That's completely up to you.
sitting in a cell somewhere not saying anything is going to
I
happen.
can't advise you either way.
It's all really blurry. It really is blurry.
What went through your mind after it happened? A lot of fear? What did you think when you were driving away?
I'm scared. It's like, finally.
I can imagine what you were going through, waiting for it to finally come out.
Waiting for what to come out?
The news that he was no longer with us. You must have been going through hell. Every day that went by, what were you thinking?
I'm scared.
What was that?
I'm scared. I'm sorry.
It's okay. And you just went on with your day like nothing had happened.
I had to.
You had to. Did you tell anybody what had happened? a bit hard.
It's all a blur. Can I please see those photos?
What was going through your head when you left this neighborhood there?
Just had to run. A little bit of a survival instinct, but it was mostly just
Just run.
fear.
Were you worried that his roommates were going to get home soon?
I was.
Did you even think about that?
Yeah, I guess.
You're a very, very free spirit.
And it's
I've known
not.
that from the beginning. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good.
What gives you the indication, like when you say you know that from the beginning?
I'm talking to you. Talking to people who know you. It's like, oh, that's just Jodi, you know?
I am.
She
Stacey,
just-
and just.
When you want to go do something, you just go do it, and you'll deal with the consequences later.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think it's a facade. I know. And Travis kept trying to live up to those standards, but he's a human being, and he's both of you are mortal, and you have free will, and that's that. Sometimes I think maybe he put too much pressure on himself to be perfect, or to at least portray himself to be perfect.
He was kneeling down in the shower. I don't remember him. If this is his shower and the sink is over here, I was like right here taking pictures. And I don't really know what happened after that exactly, except I think he was shot.
Where were you?
If this is his shower and he's sitting here, I was like, well, if this is his shower and he's sitting here, I was like right here on my knees, and his bathtub was right here, and I was taking him here, and I was just going through the pictures, and I heard this loud ring. And I don't really remember except Travis was screaming. I think I got knocked out, but I don't think it was that long. I know I got knocked in the head, and I've gotten knocked in the head once by my dad when he was just really mad. It wasn't like, actually it wasn't, he didn't knock me in the head, he just pushed me against the wall, and I hit my head, and I fell. But in this case, I think it was similar because he was screaming, and I was by the bathtub. And he was holding his head, and there were two people there, and
What'd you say?
I remember putting my hand on his back because he was on all four of his knees. He was like on his knees like this, doing something like this or something like, I don't know. And I was like, are you okay? What's going on? What's going on? He's like, go get help, go get help. And I said, okay. And I turned around. There were two people there. One was a guy and one was a girl. I couldn't tell that at first, but I could just see one was a girl, and I assumed the other was a guy because their build, and then their voices. I don't remember if they were wearing like maybe jeans.
What did they say?
One was in all black, one was in jeans.
Did they say anything?
Yeah, the girl wanted to kill me too.
What did she say?
She's like,
What words did you hear? What phrases?
who is that? Who is that? I thought he was by himself or alone or something, and he was like, shut up, just finish it. And Travis was screaming the whole time. He wasn't screaming like a girl, he was just like he was in pain, like he was like shocked, like, oh, you know. He wasn't really moving though, he was just staying kind of still on the floor.
Then what happened?
Well, as soon as he said go get help, and I turned around and they were there, and
Where were they?
they were in the bathroom.
Where in the bathroom? Not the
The
hallway
girl
or in
was,
the bathroom?
the girl was in the hallway, kind of. And the guy was more toward in the bedroom, but like still in the bathroom, like on the tile carpet area, right there where it starts.
Okay.
And he started coming in toward the bathroom too, and I.
What'd you do?
It was.
What happened? What happened, Jodi? What did you see?
I took it out like a little bitch.
You took off?
I ran, and he stopped me, but
He stopped you?
and Travis, he was he was still like conscious and still alive, and
But you just left him there?
no, I ran into the closet because like there's two doors, and they were sort of in the hallway already, and he stopped me, and he didn't touch me. He was just held the gun to my head, and he was like, "You don't go anywhere." And he told the other girl to finish it. I didn't see, but he was like, I think he was saying a lot. But
Door there. That's where
yes, exactly. And so his closet is this way.
Mhm.
So I ran this way because he was walking this way and she was already right here. And then he stopped me here and he said, "Don't move." And Travis was here or somewhere whereabouts, and he left the room for a minute. And I didn't have my stupid phone because it wasn't charged. And Travis's phone was downstairs, and I didn't know his roommates I didn't think were home at the time. So, like, I was just trying to think if there's any way I could call 911 or call or get out of the house. There's no way out except downstairs. His windows they're 2 stories for one, and they were hard to get to. He had stuff here and blinds and screens and window coverings and, from the outside. And
Okay.
I just, she was over him, and I just rushed her and I pushed her, and
Here's what?
Travis was bleeding everywhere.
What was she doing to him? Because he'd been shot at this time, right?
Yeah, but he was still alive.
Mm-hmm.
He was still conscious even. Like,
Still talking.
oh, he wasn't talking or saying much, but I could tell. He was breathing. He seemed like he was breathing calmly, I think. He wasn't like, he was just there. I really remember it's such a blur.
Okay. And so you did what now? You pushed her?
Mhm. She's a little bit bigger than me, not really in size, but height.
And what happened?
Well, it didn't really deter her.
Did she have any weapons on her at all?
Oh, yeah.
What'd she have?
I thought she was the one with the gun, but maybe she had the gun, but he had a gun. So maybe there were 2 guns or one gun, I don't know.
Well, she's the one who shot him, though, right? She was the one here, and he was back here at the time when you saw them.
I would think so, because, I don't know, I got hit here somewhere. I don't know. Because when I woke up, he was screaming. And I saw her at this point, like right here, and walking either back, she must have been walking back this way. And I saw him sort of following. And that's when he's like,
Okay.
finished. And then I started running this way, and he stopped me, and he left the room for a couple of minutes.
Why did he leave?
Maybe just, I don't know.
Okay. So
He's
what
like,
happened
"Don't
after? What
move."
happened after you pushed her?
I got Travis, and he wasn't like standing up really. He wasn't really doing much, and I was trying to get him, and she came back. I got him kind of far, like right here. She came back, and he was starting to just get weaker and weaker. And this guy came back in, and she said that they needed to do me too because it was there. And he's like, "No, that's not why we're here." And he had my purse, which I had on the dresser here prior, somewhere.
And what did they do after this? After you guys reached this? Just try to stick with the incident, so I know what was going on.
She came after me, and he stopped her,
Okay.
and she didn't get me.
How was she going to get you? Did she have a weapon?
She had a knife.
Okay. You said she had a gun before.
I don't know if she had a gun. I think, because I am guessing, I know that he had a gun. I don't know if she had a gun or not.
So she was basically the aggressor.
Yeah, unless he took a shot too. I don't know.
But it seems like from what you're telling me, she was the aggressive one and he was the more passive. What happened? So you didn't see her hurt him anymore, he was just bleeding. Where did he end up?
He, when I tried getting him here, he said, "Go get help." And when I came back this way, pushed her, and he said, go to my neighbors, go to my neighbors. And I wasn't like, no, but I wasn't gonna leave. If I couldn't leave without him, I was trying. I felt stupid already for trying to run this way. I was gonna go to a phone. And he was like, I just said, come on. You know, he was naked, but I didn't care. Just come on. And he's like, I can't. I said, come on. He's like, I can't feel my legs. And they wouldn't let me be by him.
Were you clothed at that time, or were you also nude?
Yeah, I was clothed.
Is that when you left?
So leave now. And part of me didn't want to leave. Travis was still alive. He was still, he wasn't moving a lot, but he was still alive. I could see that he was still.
Did you leave at that point?
I left the room. And
where did you go?
I went downstairs but I didn't have all my clothes.
Did you get in the car and drive away?
I always have my keys. My keys are on. I'll have a little clip on them, and I do that because I'm very, very spacey.
Did you see any other cars in the driveway or on the street? Any vehicle descriptions you can give us?
No, not that I don't think his roommates were home.
And you just left. You didn't run to the neighbors. You didn't try calling. You knew they were in his house. You had time to run to a neighbor. Why didn't you do that?
I was really scared.
Okay.
I was really freaked out of my mind.
Okay. I don't believe you. I came in here hoping that you would tell me the truth. And this is not the truth, Jodi.
This is all I know.
Does not make any sense. It does not make any sense.
That's all I know.
Nothing changes for me.
I didn't think it would. I feel responsible because I feel that I could have done more. I feel that I should have gotten help. I feel that I should have been stronger.
You feel responsible because you did this.
I did not kill
Jodi,
Travis.
you did. You did. And there's nothing you can say that'll change my mind at this point. This is an elaborate story which does not make any sense. Two people come in, first two white males, and then later you change it to...
No, I don't think I ever said white male.
Yes, you did.
When?
At the beginning of the story.
Oh, it was one.
And then you change it, oh no, one's a female.
Oh, it was female the whole time. I said I wasn't sure at first, but you could tell by their build.
Okay. That doesn't make any sense to me. And there's no reason anybody would go after him. There's nothing in his past, nothing in his, at that time that he was going through that would cause somebody to do that to him. And the fact that they left you alive and let you go, that never happens. Why would anybody do that? Why would somebody risk the chance of getting caught? Just let you run out the front door when they're upstairs in this house, killing somebody, knowing that you could just run across the street and tell somebody. It doesn't make any sense. Does it make any sense to you? It doesn't, does it?
No, they argued about it. It doesn't make sense. I thought for sure I was dead.
I was hoping that you were going to be completely truthful with me today. Obviously, that's not the case. I know you were there. I know you had some situation go on with him that got out of control. And the cut that you're showing me there, it's pretty obvious how that happened. I've seen that before. That happens when a knife slips through someone's hand because of blood. It's slippery and it cuts. That's what that is. I've done this for a long time. And this is the most far-fetched story I've ever heard. And it's not going to help you. And you refuse to tell me why.
There's no
You
reason.
refuse to tell me why. There's no reason somebody else would come in and do this to him. There's no motive whatsoever. We haven't found any.
What is my motive?
Jealousy, anger, fear, if you're being alone, angry at him for not keeping you in his life. I don't know. That's why I'm trying to figure it out. There are so many motives with you. Too many. We know you had a 25 auto. You guys reported it stolen. Recovered the ammunition and it matches. We recovered shell casing. It matches the ammunition. Your prints, your blood, your hair, the motive.
There's
You
no
were
motive.
there.
I wasn't jealous of anything. I was a little bit envious that he was going to Cancun, but that wasn't the reason. Like, I could go to Cancun. It's not cheap to go to Mexico. I mean, it's not expensive to go to
I
Mexico.
know. You were probably standing above him when he was in the shower. And you shot him in the head.
I was kneeling down beside him looking at the
Jodi.
pictures.
And then you had a knife. And you stabbed him. Several times. Yes, you did. Jodi. What did you do with the gun?
I never had it in my possession.
Jodi. You did.
Never. I don't have it.
Yeah, you don't have it. You know, people say that when they know of the gun. They've seen the gun. They've touched the gun. You don't have it.
I saw the gun.
Yeah. Because you had it before. You've touched it. You've used it. I know you have.
I don't think I've ever even fired a gun. I've done bows and arrows, but not guns and water guns, yes, but not a real gun. And the gun that I got on Friday was never used.
So you're going to continue to tell me that you didn't do this to him?
Did not kill Travis.
I believe you did. I truly believe you did. And there's nothing showing that anybody else did this. Nothing. I've been in so many scenes and so many investigations, and there's always some type of evidence left behind, no matter how careful somebody is. And in this case, there was evidence. Not pointing at anybody else, just you. And that's what I have to go by. And that's what my report's going to say.
Okay. If I had planned to hurt him in any way, I'm not the brightest person, but I don't think I could stab him. I think I would have to shoot him continuously until he was dead, if that were my intention. And again, I bring up the gloves again, but I would have to wear gloves, because, I'm not too worried about prints. I guess they're all over anyway, but I would never stab him. If I had it in me anywhere to kill him, the least I could have done was make it humane as possible, or quick, or something, I don't think killing is humane, so to speak. I don't mean it that way, I just mean,
I know what you mean.
like, he was still alive.
Yes, he was. He was alive for a while. And I knew that he'd been shot first, and he was still alive, and possibly tried to get away, maybe even tried to fight back.
I think he was in shock. I just remember waking up and...
But you didn't see him fight back or anything, did you? He just kind of collapsed there, and...
No, he was here, outside of the shower.
Yeah. And then you pulled him this way, and you tried to get away with him, but then he couldn't go any further.
He said he couldn't move.
Yeah.
He said he couldn't feel his
And that's the
legs.
last place you saw him. You said that he stopped and kind of collapsed right there. She
No.
was standing there, and he was over here, and it just doesn't make any sense.
He was still, able to move. He was all, I guess he was all conscious up here, sort of, still. But he wasn't, on his leg or on his knees or on his feet. He wasn't walking.
Just crawling.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I want to go in from there. He was sort of using his legs, but he wasn't standing up.
Yeah. If we can continue on that route, I don't think I'm going further.
I don't remember what time I left, but...
I gave you an opportunity. This was the only opportunity. Okay, and you gave me the information that you were there, but I knew you were there. And then you throw some story in that is not plausible. It just doesn't make any sense with the evidence that was there at the house. It doesn't make any evidence at all, or any sense at all. That evidence tells a story, and nowhere in that evidence does that story that you told me match. It doesn't match.
I don't know what else to say.
That's it then. Okay, the next time I see you will probably be in Phoenix. Is that cool?
I have a choice.
Well, you're going there regardless, so it doesn't matter. But I was hoping that we could resolve this here. And it's obvious by what you're telling me you don't want to resolve this here.
I just can't.
Well, at the beginning you told me that you couldn't tell me because you couldn't tell me who they were because you didn't want your family to get hurt.
I can't let my family...
And now you're telling me you don't know who they are, and therefore it doesn't matter. So there's nothing you can tell me.
I can give you the
So
best
many
description.
inconsistencies that I don't even want to deal with right now.
Okay, I just don't want my family to get hurt.
Okay? They won't get hurt. You're hurting them right now by not telling me the truth. That's what you're doing. Okay?
You all finished up?
Well, for now, yes.
What's that?
For now, yes. Can I take this or no?
Well, let me just see. Make sure you're not, sneaking jail secrets out or something.
Okay. Long this?
Is it little?
Oh,
Jodi, we're going to let you keep this.
thank you.
I can turn around for you. Okay, you ready to go?
I think so.
Okay.